Now, this training is all about powerful affiliate frames. What this means is that one of the biggest secrets to the super affiliate success is not just having a list, which in and of itself is very important, but also in your ability to frame the products and programs you're promoting in a way that makes sense to your list. So today we're going to be diving deep into influence through affiliate offers and into influence through frames. And what this means in simple terms is today I'm going to show you how to build powerful affiliate pre-sale pages and pre-sale videos, because these are truly some of the most powerful things you can be doing as an affiliate marketer. For example, right now I am running a campaign for an affiliate webinar. So last session we spoke about private affiliate programs and them being webinars. So right now as we speak, I'm running a really cool promotion to a webinar that's going to be taking place this week with my friend, where at the end of the webinar, we're going to be offering a $997 program, which is a really sweet price point. We found at this price point to be very, very effective. So one of the things that I've done so far for this promotion is obviously I loaded a bunch of emails to go out to my list, but also I shot and I prepped up 3 different affiliate frame pages with a frame copy and frame video. And so far I've sent about 250 people to those 3 pages collectively, and I already have over 130 people registered for the webinar. Now what this means is that out of 250 people who landed on my pre-sale pages, not only more than half actually went to check out the webinar sign up page, but actually more than half registered for the webinar that's going to be taking place later this week. What this tells you is that the affiliate pre-frame I've used was very, very powerful for this particular promotion. And the same thing was true when I was promoting Michael Chaney's program. When I was promoting any other program, I always go to work and I put the most emphasis on my framing, not even as much as on my emails, because my emails, if my frame is correct, if I choose the correct frames for my promotions, my emails are really simple to write. In fact, they come down to a quick tease and a link to go check out the page in the video, because the video is what's doing most of their marketing. So let us begin. One thing you really have to know and have before you can appreciate what we're going to be chatting about today is, of course, you need to have chosen your product. You need to have your affiliate link already available to you, and you need to know your target market, which is something we've done in the first session to this training. So if you don't have any of these and you're watching this in the members area, please pause the training, go back to the first and second session, do the homework, because you will not be able to appreciate what's going on here. However, if you have this information, then we can proceed. And the first thing I want to share with you is that what I do before promoting the affiliate product is to try and understand what frame or angle I'm going to use to promote it. I recognize that while the affiliate product sales letter or VSL is important, my pre-frame marketing can make or break the affiliate campaign. Now, this is really important for you to understand. The pre-frame that you're using can truly mean the difference between you making 1% conversion versus you making 10% conversion, which versus you making 25% conversion. Affiliate pre-frames, in addition to, of course, using bonuses, which is something we're going to be chatting about in future sessions, this can truly make or break a promotion. And some affiliate products, some affiliate offers will only work if you do powerful pre-frame. Many of these affiliate offers, even though they are positioned and framed to you by the vendor as sessions that are as products that are effective and that convert really well, and they provide you with all these statistics, the thing is that many times they don't work. And I'm sure you've had this experience. I've had this experience myself many, many times before. When I chose an affiliate offer to promote, I sent like 500 to 1,000 people to the sales page, to the offer, and it didn't convert at all, not even close to what I was promised. And of course, at first I got upset about it, just like anyone would. But then I figured out that one of the reasons that things don't work out for affiliates is because there must be a gap. There must be a gap between where the prospects are, where the list is, where the people on their list are mentally, and where they need to be in order to truly appreciate the offer that we're making to them, which is why, I developed this approach of affiliate pre-frame, which is, to the best of my knowledge, no one else is using right now. I mean, I just came back from an event where the room was full of super affiliates, and I haven't seen any one of them use powerful pre-frame marketing. There was one of them who specializes in bonuses, but he's usually going after like the people who are already interested in the product, right? What I'm talking about is taking a list that doesn't even know the product exists, and then bridging the gap where they are, where the list is, and where they need to be in order to be highly, highly interested in the product you're promoting. So another thing I want you to understand before we dive in is that today's training is not about buying silhouettes to an affiliate link. We're not going to do any of that. In fact, I don't recommend doing just that, even though that's what most people are usually doing. Okay, now you're a part of this coaching program, so you deserve to know what it truly takes to make big money. If you want to make big money, do not do that. Do not buy solids directly to an affiliate link. You will never make big money this way. That's just wrong. We're talking about promoting affiliate products to your existing list. We're talking about you having a database already. And if you don't have one, please refer to the members area. We're going to upload a training if we haven't done so already, depending on when you see this. We're going to be uploading a separate training where we're going to give you a blueprint to building your list the right way, the kind of list that actually makes you money, and not the kind of list that people just kind of want you to believe is possible. So it's not push button easy. What I'm going to give you is the framework, the blueprint that I use to build my lists, whether I promote my own products or affiliate products. You can do it both ways, but that framework is the only one that I found to be working for anyone who starts from scratch. So if you have a list, awesome. You will be truly able to appreciate what I'm going to share with you today. If you don't have a list, don't worry. Still go through this, okay? Get the fundamentals down and then study the blueprint, which is going to allow you to build a list very quickly and very, very efficiently without, you losing your shirt and without you having to build a dead list, actually, which is the way most people build their list. And I'm guilty of the same. Back in 2009, I built a list of 1,000 people. I emailed that list and nothing happened. Like literally out of 1,000 people, I think I had 7 or 10 of them open it and 3 people clicked the link. I made no money and I got so frustrated that I just deleted the damn thing. Well, now I know what I've done wrong. And to be honest with you, many times when I look back on my experience in this industry, I really value the moments when I got it wrong. I really value the moments that signify major failure, because it is during those moments that I was able to learn so much. It was during those moments I learned the most important lessons, my most profitable lessons that led to me becoming a decamillionaire before the age of 30. So I highly, 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 highly recommend you learn what we got here today. You take, lots of notes and pay close attention. Of course, like I said, I'm going to give you this Word document as well. It's going to be available for download. In addition to the blueprint we're going to upload a little bit later. Again, you may be watching this after we record it, so check the members area for the blueprint. And that blueprint is going to teach you how to build your list. So right now, I'm assuming you have a list. I'm assuming you've got an audience, and this is all about you taking a product and promoting that product to your audience the correct way, the profitable way. So let us begin. Now, the first question that's on your mind, or that needs to be on your mind, is how to recognize a powerful angle for your next affiliate promotion. Now, what I mean by that is, how do you know, at least with a certain percentage of certainty, right? So let's just say 80%. How do you know with 80% certainty that the angle that you're going to choose for your affiliate promotion is actually going to work? Well, it takes us back to the 27-word persuasion formula that I shared with you earlier in the first session. And the formula is, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Now, recognize how powerful that is. And we already spoke about how powerful that is. If you don't remember, if you missed it, go back to the first session of the masterclass where I break down exactly why this one particular sentence can truly change your life and can truly change the results you're getting in your business. Well, so once we understand all these things, their dreams, their failures, their fears, their suspicions, and who their enemies are, we can then leverage that in our marketing. And this is what marketing is all about. Marketing, creating marketing content is usually about talking about these 5 things in any, in one way or another. It's mostly about that. It's very rarely about talking about specific techniques. The specific techniques, the specific strategies, the specifics of how you actually make money is usually something you give to your clients after they paid you money. Right? So this is something you do in your paid products. But when it comes to attracting clients and creating the marketing content, these are the 5 things we talked about. There's really nothing else for you to talk about to get people's interest besides these 5 things. So either we talk about their enemies, their fears, their suspicions, their goals, or their past failures, like separately, or we talk about all of the above. And that's how we create our marketing content that frames the entire affiliate promotion. Now, when I build my affiliate promotions, my preference is to mix 2 to 3 of these elements into a single frame. In other words, when I say frame, I want you to imagine either a pre-sale page where I write out the copy, a pre-sale email where I write out the copy, or an email that leads to a page upon which I host a video where I explain this. So for example, you can go back to the members area and you can check out the case study I'm giving you for the Michael Chaney promotion. It's the Director's Cut case study. And so it walks you through exactly what each of my frame pages said, how it was built, what did the video say, and how I hosted them. And you can build these pages very, very simply, either using the templates I gave you and the tutorial that Dennis shot for you on how to edit the HTML code on those pages, or you can just do the way most people do it. Most people who don't want to, deal with the code, and you can simply go ahead and get a ClickFunnels account and just build it off of ClickFunnels. So go ahead then and check that out after we're done here. But anytime I say the word frame, okay, I want you to imagine either pre-sale email, pre-sale page, pre-sale video, or pre-sale email that takes them to pre-sale page that hosts a pre-sale video that makes a call to action. This is really important for me that you recognize what I just said. It's really critical because I don't want you to get confused about what a frame is. I don't want you to think that this is some incredibly difficult thing. It's actually not. We're talking about creating one piece of content, or at best, we're talking about creating, one piece of content and spinning off that one piece of content into 2 more pieces. So for example, we can shoot a video and then spin it into an email and a page. Like, it's really, really simple, and it's really, really fast too. So for example, yesterday, after being done with some of my studying, and right now I'm really, really going hardcore on studying public speaking and webinar marketing, which is, I believe, one of my weak points, even though you may not feel this way, but it truly is, because I never gave it enough attention. What I've done after I was done with it, at 2 p.m., I came back home and I created 3 frame pieces, and then I spun those pieces into a series of 12 emails and 3 pre-sale pages. It took me about 4 hours to do the entire thing, and now I have the entire emails, the entire week's worth of promos going out. And I know that promo is going to make me several $1,000s. I don't know how much exactly, and hopefully, it's not going to bomb, but we'll see. Right, but as I shared with you, it's already producing positive results by me sending 250 people to the pages and generating over 130 attendees to the webinar. So it took me 4 hours. Now, if, for example, that promotion only makes me $5,000 this week, that means I'm getting, and this is a modest, that's probably going to be my lowest promotion that I've ever done in the last, I think, 3 to 4 years. But let's just say on a low level, let's just assume it's going to make me just $5,000 from this multi-day, multi-step promotion. If I only make 5 grand, that means I made during those 4 hours about $1,250 US per hour, which is way more than most people get paid ever, right? So think about it this way. Even if all it takes is 4 to 6 hours, still it's pretty good money, right? And it's also another thing that's really amazing about it. If you structure promotions correctly, meaning that if you build them in an evergreen way, where you don't mention specific dates or times, and when you build it in a way that allows you to repurpose them in your follow-up sequence, you can then have these 4 hours turned into an ongoing income stream and systematize it, automate it, and get passive income. Because many of the affiliate promotions you're going to be doing are going to be evergreen. Most of them are going to be evergreen anyway. Even the ones with the webinar, because webinars can be automated. They don't have to happen live. Now, so it happens that the one I'm doing this week is actually going to be taking place live. So, I'm cool with that. I know that, but if I establish that this promotion is a success, I can easily send people to a recording of that webinar, which could be automated. And then I can build an evergreen promotion to that by slightly tweaking the promotion I've already built, or by simply redoing it with the same angle, only without mentioning any dates or times, which is the same way I've done for Michael Cheney's promotion. I first done the live one, then we recognized that we made a lot of money, so I automated it, changed the emails a little bit, shot 2 new videos with the exact same angle, but without dates, and bam, ever since it's been producing thousands of dollars every single week like clockwork. So this is what I talk about when I talk about frames. It's either the video or the page or the email or all of the above. Okay. Now, here's the thing. The reason I'm encouraging you to do 2 or 3 of these 5 elements that we're discussing here at a time in your frames is because it can be difficult at first for you to incorporate all 5. It actually takes a little bit of experience and for you to successfully get comfortable with incorporating certain types of frameworks. In other words, for me, right, one of the easiest ways to the 2 of my favorites by far are, first off, discussing the customer's experience as it is. Right? So discussing the customer's experience as it is, basically mirroring the customer's experience and mirroring the customer's present day experience, which is basically failure, right? So my customer is not happy where they are. So, talking about their failure and basically laying to the point that it's not their fault is one of my favorites. And also the enemy. The enemy is also one of my favorites. And if you've been following me for any period of time, you notice that I sell against enemies all the time. Either I bash gurus, or I bash traffic sources, or I talk about, how you're not being taught the correct thing, and I bash certain blueprint. I may bash Shopify and e-commerce, or then maybe Facebook ads, but I'll find an enemy to work against because it's so much easier to bond with people when you have a common enemy. And that's something you learn when you go to the army. I served in the army for a little while. I also went to a boarding army school where I wore a uniform for 6 years before actually getting into the army. So it is very clear to me how army builds a following and loyalty, right? It's very clear to me. In addition, what really helped me as well, now that I recognize it, kind of being able to look back at my past, is I also went for 2 years to a Jewish religious school. As soon as I arrived to Israel, when I was in the 6th grade, they sent me to a religious school. They call them yeshiva, right? But it was not entirely like a yeshiva because that's more hardcore. It was more about some education that was normal education, like physics, mathematics, English. But at the same time, they also made a huge emphasis on the religious studies, such as the Bible and the Torah and all that stuff. So, with that as well, at the time I couldn't recognize it, but now that I recall my experience in the religious school, I remember there were clear enemies. There were clear behaviors you were not allowed to do. There were clear things that they used to create that powerful community. And if you notice, if you ever come across, the Jewish community is very, very, very tight. Same for Arabic community, right? So that's something I learned after arriving to Canada. For example, if you compare the Canadian community, the Canadian society versus, say, Jewish society or a Jewish society within the Canadian society or an Arabic society within the Canadian society, you'll notice that the Jews and the Arabs cling together to their own kind much, much more powerfully than Canadians ever cling to each other, because the Jews have a common, what you call it, common enemy. Basically, they draw a clear line between us and them. So that's just a quick influence lesson. But my point is that you will find me using these two more often than others. But oftentimes, when I'm really serious about making something happen, I will start with one of these 5 things, right? So again, the things are dreams, failures, fears, suspicions, and enemies. And then I will move throughout my pre-sale piece to basically go over each one of them. But you don't have to do it. You can build a successful framework by focusing on 2 to 3 of these things at a time. Now, the other benefit is that it also keeps it short enough to be able to create it on the fly. So I'm talking about creating pre-frame pieces that are under 7 minutes. Now, this is actually not difficult. It's probably going to take you a little bit more time when you just get started, because you're going to basically fumble the video and you'll not be sure what to write about and all that stuff. But eventually you'll get so good at it that you can quite literally spit out a pre-frame piece within less than 10 minutes that's going to make you thousands of dollars. That is not a dream. That is not a fairy tale. That is not a magic button. It is for real, because you're putting the work now. And I really want to stress this out. If I haven't stressed this out so far in this coaching program, you have to be willing to put in the work. I'll give an example. So I have a client who's actually one of my best friends now, and he also helped me relocate to Canada. He supplied the paperwork necessary for the Canadian government to confirm my identity and my intention. So this client, he's an amazing dude, okay? Amazing dude. He's a single father. He's very passionate about his son. He's very passionate about his sports, and he's very passionate about this business. And he's been in this business for freaking forever. And he only started experiencing success recently. And one of the reasons why I believe that to be true is because until now, he's been just buying, and consuming stuff. He hasn't been taking any action whatsoever. He's been kind of blindly taking the easy route, but now he's finally starting to build assets, to create the framework, to create the frame pieces that he needs to generate sales into his business opportunity. He even started his own podcast. He shoots videos. He builds content. Sure, it's taking some time and it's not easy for him, but his results are already better this year than they were in the last 10 years combined. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about taking action. It means doing the uncomfortable. And believe it or not, creating marketing frames and pieces is actually uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable, because you, for the first time in your life, for many of you, it's going to be the very first time, you will have to put your work to a test. You'll have to put it out there for other people to judge. And guess what? You're going to have fear of rejection. You're going to have fear of success. You're going to have fear of failure. You're going to have fear of not reaching your full potential. And that's okay. You will forever have this. Unfortunately, again, I can only speak for myself, but I can tell you that even today, after having made a lot of money online, I'm talking over $10 million, I still have the same bullshit that I've been programmed to believe when I was a kid, getting in the way of me creating marketing frames. The difference is that it takes a higher level of a frame to scare me. For instance, it is easier for me to shoot a video or write an email, because I've done it millions of times, than it is for me to go on a public speaking trip and put a lot of money and time and reputation on the line by selling something from stage and risking the audience not buying, which was my experience recently at the event where I went on stage and only 2 people bought out of 40. Now, from a standpoint of a sales letter for a $2,000 program, these are good conversions. But for me, compared to other speakers who sold dozens of copies of their programs, I felt embarrassed, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to recover from that. But that's something you have to overcome. Your emotional intelligence will either get in the way or be your best friend. So you have to pay attention to it and accept, Okay, accept the fact that it will try to stop you by saying, no, you shouldn't put this out because people will judge you and nobody's going to buy and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? If you don't put out this material, if you don't put out this content, nobody's going to buy, because you give them no opportunity to buy from you. You give them no opportunity to believe in you. You give them no opportunity whatsoever to get influenced by you. Therefore, your life will not change unless and until you put out all this material that may make you feel uncomfortable. So just a quick kind of caveat for you to be aware of, because it may get in the way. Now, again, 2 to 3 of these frames, and it will allow you to create those frames relatively fast. Now, this is very important. As the pre-framer, and this is who you are as an affiliate, by the way. You're not a salesman or a woman. You're not a marketer. You're a pre-framer. That's all you're doing. You're just framing the stage. You're just kind of building up either the program or the vendor or both. You're building them up in the prospect's mind in order for the prospect to simply be open and willing to check it out. So as the pre-framer, you're not supposed to sell the program. You're just supposed to frame it and make the client interested in giving it their full attention right now. This is, I mean, you're basically a matchmaker. That's all you are. You've got a database of people. You're handpicking the ones that are best fit, and you're making a match between your list and the offer you're promoting, right? So I put down a few more sentences here that I'm going to read out loud to you, which I really want you to recognize and take in. As an affiliate, you're not supposed to take your prospect on the date and make her kiss the vendor. Your job is merely to make your prospect attend the date with an open mind, in spite of being afraid, concerned, or having gone on other bad dates in the past. So what this means is that you're not there to marry your prospect, the people on your list, and the vendor or the offer. You're not, getting them married. You're quite literally getting the, you're making the date happen, and you're completely okay that many people will not buy. You're simply looking to create the best match, and what you're doing, you're building up the date in a way where it says, look, you should check it out. Here's the reasons, and this is what it can do for you. It's up to you to make that decision. I highly recommend you attend the date and see what's up, right? So you're never pushing the sale, you're never closing the sale in your frame piece. All you're doing is generating interest. You're stirring up the emotion. You're giving the emotional value to the potential customer, but you're not closing the sale. Another thing you have to do as the pre-framer of the affiliate promotion is to make sure the client can appreciate the offer. Now, this is very, very important. You must ask yourself, what needs to be true for my client in order for them to appreciate the product I'm putting in front of them? As an example, okay, this is just a quick example, one of many examples. Customer can't appreciate the value of an email autoresponder if she's not aware of how much money she can make with email marketing or how to build a list. So in other words, if you're on this training program because you appreciate A, list building, B, email marketing, C, affiliate marketing, and D, you want to make money from home. These 4 things need to be true at the very least in order for you to appreciate this training. If I offer this training to my mother, who does not know what email marketing is, who does not understand how to make money from home, who is not interested in figuring out how to make money from home at this point in her life, she will find no value. She will not pay attention. Everything I'll tell her will kind of fly over her. I'm just taking a sip of espresso here real quick with a soda. Man, I love this stuff. So my mother will not be able to appreciate what we're doing here. My wife will not be able to appreciate what we're doing here, even though she's married to someone who makes money online and who's a quote unquote super affiliate. So your list is no different. Your list is full of people coming from different backgrounds, with different experiences, different ages, different sexes, different locations, different agendas, different desires, different outcomes. So your job is to find out what needs to be true? What is the first and foremost needs to be true for my client to appreciate the offer? So I'll give an example when I failed to do this with one of my products. I released a program a few months ago called Voice That Makes Millions. Now, in addition, I also offered a program, Webinar Millions, to the people who bought Voice That Makes Millions. And this program, even though made us about $11,000 when we launched it to our list, which is, I mean, to most people that wouldn't even sound bad, but to me that is kind of bad because I expected for it to produce about 4 times as much. We started figuring out why it didn't work because the copy was solid, the VSL was solid, the offer was incredible, the price tag was spot on because it's a tested price tag we've tested many times before. And here's what we figured out. We missed, and this is my mistake, of course, because I got so tied up with the idea that the program is groundbreaking and life-changing because it truly felt this way to me because I went through that particular transformation with my voice. You see, what happened was I failed to recognize that my list does not want to create content. Like, I recognize that my list is full of people who want to make money, but who do not want to shoot videos, who do not want to record podcasts, who do not want to get their face out there. These people just want to get ready-made, done-for-them systems, right? So in other words, this gap, and this is truly what the gap was, this gap prevented about 99% of my customers from wanting this. I mean, they may have wanted it, but they would never take action because they know they will not put themselves out there. They will not get in front of a microphone like I'm getting right now, delivering a message to an audience. They just don't want to do that. What they want to do is they want to get a done-for-them marketing system that allows them just to make money with a push of a button. Now, of course, that kind of stuff is borderline, right? It doesn't quite exist. So they'll just take the next best thing, to it, but they will definitely not go the hard route, if you will. They will not shoot videos. They will not record themselves. So they couldn't care less about their voice and how they sound. Now, there were plenty of people on my list, even with those conversions, that actually bought the program and could appreciate what it was about. In fact, the refund ratio on that is very, very low. It's less than 5% compared to, say, the Ultimate Rich Page system that we launched, which was a big hit, still is. We still make about 2 to 3 sales of that program to our list on autopilot. That program has a 19% refund rate, which means we're selling it hard enough because as the old marketing saying goes, unless you're getting at least 20% refund requests, you're not selling hard enough. So that program is a big hit and refund rate is great. Like, it's really, really high, which means we're really doing a great job of pushing the limits of what's possible as far as marketing. But with this other program, even though the refund rate is very, very low and it's spot on with the people who do actually have that problem with their list, with their voice, the actual match to the list wasn't there because of that gap. So you have to, this is where like your promotion could be, you can make it or break it. You have to figure out what the gap is. And the question you ask yourself, what needs to be true for my client in order for them to appreciate the product I'm putting in front of them? So another example, if I suddenly decided to release a program about video marketing, right, I know that I would not get great success with my list unless I could do 2 things. First, if I could convince them that video marketing is contributing to my success and success of many other people online who make big money. And 2, unless I show them a way where they can do video marketing without actually doing video marketing. In other words, where can they use the power of video marketing without all the risks and all the headaches of classic video marketing. For example, by providing them with done-for-you video marketing campaigns. That would be the only way that my list will be able to appreciate a video marketing program. That's the only way to bridge that gap. If I were just to release a program kind of like something like what Russell Brunson would do, where he would literally get on camera and teach you his 21-step system to producing powerful VSLs. So something like John Benson, the father of the VSL, who teaches you how to like build this 30-minute video sales letter and record it and produce it. Like that would just not fly. That would not fly with my list. I can guarantee it, because the gap is too great for that. But if I was promoting, like, say, John Benson's program where he teaches you how to create a 30-minute VSL, what I could do is I could offer a bonus that bridges the gap in the form of a ready-made VSL that follows John's exact blueprint that they can use to promote. Like, it's a generic VSL they can use to promote anything. In fact, I've done that. I've done exactly this thing, not with an affiliate offer, but with a crypto offer. So when we recognize that crypto opportunities are the new thing in the internet/biz up marketing world, what we've done is we created a VSL like that, and we offer that VSL for free to people who wanted to promote a crypto biz up. And we sold a bunch of traffic this way because we bridged that gap. Because until then, the crypto people could not figure out how to promote the crypto offers through traditional solo ads. And we banked big because we were able to bridge the gap. So bridging the gap is, man, it's just so profitable. It is very, very profitable. There's only a few things really, if you notice so far, that I'm giving you that can truly boost your results. It's the gap. It's the 5 things you need to talk about. It's the way you frame it. It's really not that difficult. It's not rocket science for sure. It may seem like rocket science to you because you haven't done it yet, but I assure you, the moment you get into that process, and if you follow the checklist I'm giving you inside the members area in the Michael Cheney affiliate checklist section, where I'm breaking it down for you in the form of a checklist, you will be amazed how easy you can make money and how fast it happens for you. So moving forward. Right, so I see a question here from Jean-Francois. What is the difference between frames and angles? No difference. Same thing. It's just synonyms, my friend. Frame is an angle. Angle is a frame. Basically, the idea is you take an offer, and let's say the offer is X, right? And you need to frame it in a way where your prospects and potential customers view X in a positive light, in a way where they understand that X can help them achieve their goals, where X can help them get rid of the fears, get rid of the enemies, or overcome past failures. That's the frame. Frame is not what you're looking at, is how you're looking at it. And the one thing you must recognize as a marketer is that one of the most profitable things you can learn how to do, which is, by the way, a learnable skill, 100% learnable skill, is to suggest and control other people's frames. And this is something you must learn how to do not only externally with your customers, but also internally with yourself. And one of the things that Tony Robbins always says, frame control is the secret to success. Right? He said it many times. You can Google that, go on YouTube, type in Tony Robbins frame control, study frame control from the NLP and the pickup niches. In other words, the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, I think it's called. So Tony is big on that. Just go on Google, go on YouTube, and type in NLP frame, and it will, they'll explain to you what that is. Also, you can see examples of frame control in dating. So again, go on YouTube. There's tons of free content. Type in frame control dating or frame control pickup artist, and you'll find a bunch of material. So the first step when you're deciding on your frames, after you understood what the gap is, after you know your prospect intimately with the fears, frustrations, dreams, goals, etc., the first step is to make a list of VSL bullets. Basically things that vendor talks about in their video sales letter or their written sales letter. And it also helps to go through the product to find additional angles the vendor actually missed. So not only I recommend you study the VSL itself and write out the, I would say, the angles. So in other words, when I'm talking about when I say study the angles of what the vendor is doing, you're literally focusing on the 5 things, on the suspicions, the fears, the enemies, the dreams, and the fears, and ask yourself, constantly ask yourself the question as you're watching this: how is he relating to any of these in his sales letter right now? And then in addition to that, I want you to go through the actual product. Yes, I want you to buy the product or ask for a review copy of the product from the vendor, and go through the product to find additional angles. Find the content, the nuggets in the content that the vendor is giving, and then come up with your own angles based on that content. And I want you to make this list without judgment. Now, what I mean is that don't disqualify your angles, the ones you come up with and the ones you study. Don't disqualify them as bad until you made the entire list. Then you should have a list of like 50 of them by the time you're done. If the VSL is anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes long, and then the product is, say, an ebook that's about 100 pages, by the time you're done, you should have about 50 angles at the minimum that you can be talking about in your frame, frame material, in your frame piece. If you have less than that, you're being lazy. Now, a year from now, once you've practiced this skill many, many times, you'll be able to come up with angles on autopilot, complete autopilot, because you'll be so in sync with everything you're doing, you'll know exactly what to say. Until then, I want you to sit your ass down, go through the program, go through the product, go through the VSL, go through the sales letters, go through everything, go through their emails, go through any material you can find from the vendor, and figure out their angles. Get those angles on paper. Take a pen and a pad and write those things down. And I want you to have at least 50 on paper, because only then you'll have plenty to choose from when you sit down to create your frames. If you have 3 to choose from, you'll have a hard time completing this task. If you have 50 to choose from, it's going to be very easy for you. And you'll also know if one of these frames will fail, you can always go back to the other 49 to try again and figure it out. Because remember, the assumption you're making is that there's always a successful frame. There's always one frame that will work. Doesn't matter what your audience is and what you're selling, you can always find the correct frame and the correct gap bridger. So let me actually put this down. This is very important. 2 assumptions you must have approaching your next affiliate framed campaign. 1, there's always a frame that converts. There's always at least one frame that converts. And 2, there's always at least one way to bridge the gap that converts. Okay, there's always at least one of each that allows you to make money. Like no exception, really no exception. I don't care what you're promoting. It's always a matter of finding that correct frame and that correct bridge gap bridger, if you will. So let me just highlight it like this. Now, once you've made that list of 50, okay, I'm actually going to just bring this up here. Once you've created the list of 50, I want you to pick 3 angles that are most compelling in your opinion based on what you know about your customer. Create an outline for each frame promo piece and focus on 3 big flow points for each promo piece. So what this means is that out of the 50 you've done, I want you to take 3 that you believe may be the most profitable, that are the best fit for your audience. Then for each one of the 3 frame pieces, I want you to outline 3 big points, 3 flow points for your content. So when you actually sit down to plan out the frame video or the frame page, you need to have a 3-point framework of the 3 things you will touch on as you go along. Now, this will help you stay on track when you record and or create the content. I use this framework all the time when I create frame pieces, be it video, audio. I always use it with my podcasts. I seldomly, not as much anymore, but seldomly, I will use it with my emails, especially if it's hard for me to stay on track. Now I just flow, but I used to do it a lot. So A 3-point flow for each promo piece is going to help you stay on track and going to make the process so much easier for you. And once you've outlined the flow of the piece, you're ready to either create a text bridge page or a video bridge page. I recommend video. Okay, I highly recommend video for the simple fact that video allows you to create multi-dimensional influence. Now, what is multi-dimensional influence? This is something that I haven't heard any marketer talk about this ever, although pretty much every single top marketer is fully aware of the consequence of properly using and positioning all these things. So, but before I move into that, I have another question here. Does each one of the frames needs to be a specific headline, or one headline can be used for all three? Yes, each piece needs a different angle. If you're creating two identical pieces, then you're just wasting your time. You're just doing same work twice. Every angle you choose should be completely different. So if one angle is about living the 4-hour work week, and the second angle is about really putting a lot of work to make passive commissions, and then you offering a shortcut to overcome that work, then these are two different angles, and they should be two different headlines, two different pages, two different videos. And the only thing that's going to be the same is the link that they need to click at the end that you're telling them to click, right? The call to action is going to be pretty much exactly the same, but everything that precedes that is going to be different. It's going to be, if not completely different, then at least 60% different. Okay, if you find yourself being stuck in the exact same frame for two different promotions, for two different angles, then you're doing it wrong. What you're doing is you're basically choosing the safe frame, the frame you feel safest with, over and over again without even realizing it. Which is when I recommend what you do is you basically trash one of them. So if you have two identical ones, trash one of them, and then go and choose a completely different, unrelated, completely different directional frame. Okay. And again, it requires some creativity. And that's why you want to have 50 of these frames ready to go rather than sitting there for another 2 hours and then trying to figure out another frame. So back to multi-dimensional influence. What is that? Well, I figured out along the way of my progress and development in this industry. And as you know, I'm a student of influence to this day. Nothing I enjoy more than understanding the process of influence, which is, if you check out my Kindle, right, you'll see that about 65% of the books there are all about influence, and the ones that are not are usually about maybe psychology or societal behavior, or just human nature, again, which all ties back to influence. So the 14 dimensions that allow you to influence somebody, and usually the people who are good at influence get at least 40 to 50% of these right at any given time. Now, people who get all the 14 right are usually multi-millionaires. That's what makes people magnetic for other people. That's what makes them really successful in marketing. They get all these things right, whether or not they do it consciously, whether or not they're even aware of that stuff. But as we know, some people are naturals. I don't happen to be. For me, it's all skill. It's all years and years of practice. So here's the things that you need to know, that you need to focus on in order to create multi-dimensional influence, which is, by the way, one of the things that this explains for you is why you can use other person's sales copy and it not working for you at all. Like if you steal my sales copy right now, chances are you will not get the same results, not even close, because I have a lot of these other hidden, they're hidden to the average person's eye, of course. I get a lot of these things right. So the first one is what you say. So the actual words that are coming out of your mouth. And this is simple because that's what most people hear. The other one is how you say it. And this is something I teach you in the Voice That Makes Millions, which you got as a bonus to this training. Okay. How you say it matters oftentimes more than what you actually say, because same thing that's being delivered in two different tonalities usually has different effect. And this is really, really, really powerful. This is one of the most powerful secrets of influence you can ever learn. The third one is context in which what you say is delivered. So I'll give an example. When I say build a list in the context of you having already paid me $1,000 to work with me, that will land with you much, much, much better. They will register than if you watch a free YouTube video with me in it saying build a list. So the fact that you paid me money, or the fact that you've traveled to a physical event to see me, will usually change the way everything I say is perceived, which is why it's often more powerful to deliver the same content in a different format several times, because you never know which context is going to hit best. It also explains why posting, for me, I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure that many of you watching this had the same experience. For me, I can put the exact same copy in an email and in my Facebook post, and I almost never make money from a Facebook post. In fact, I tested this when I launched The Voice That Makes Millions. I actually ran a series of video frames to my Facebook followers, exactly the same frames I ran to my email list. And the context made all the difference. All of my sales came from email. Not a single sale in a 3-day sequence came from my Facebook. So the context of Facebook somehow did not contribute to the sale. Now, 4, how many times you say it. Repetition is hypnotic. I want you to remember that. I want you to recognize it. That's why you hear me repeating things on this training and in my marketing videos. I repeat things a lot, don't I? And the reason I do it is because repetition is very hypnotic. By saying things multiple times again and again, you kind of break through the core to the core of the brain. Somehow the brain today, especially since attention spans are so fragile, the brain fails to recognize things unless they're repeated to the brain many, many times. In my opinion, you have to repeat something up to 30 to 60 times for it to land. That's why sometimes, you'd be going through a program or a product or a video or a webinar, and, the presenter will say something like, again, for example, build a list. And all of a sudden, after hearing that for 3 years, you finally get it. You're finally like, oh my God, why didn't I get it 3 years ago? That was how it was for me with the build a list thing. Like, everybody said that, I ignored it, and I only registered later on, about after maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and I started building my list properly. But until then, somehow I didn't pay attention. But the fact is, I did pay attention. I heard people tell me that. I never took it seriously until it was repeated to me enough times. And then my brain went on looking for proof in the marketplace, found that proof and said, oh, I see what's going on. I got to build a list, because anyone who's making a ton of money actually has a list. 5, who else says it? Now, this is also powerful, because if you're the only one in the marketplace that says, and let's just take me, right, as an example, because it's very easy, because you've been following me. So I say, buy solo ads. If I was the only person in the marketplace that says that, it would be much harder for me to convince you to do it than if other people you follow said the same thing, right? So chances are, when you heard me say buy solo ads, you've probably started noticing other people saying that. Or vice versa, you heard someone say it, you kind of took notice of it, but you never really jumped to buy a bunch of solos. But then you started seeing other people saying, and then you came across my work when you started researching solo ads, and you'd be like, oh, wow, this guy makes a lot of sense, so I better buy solo ads. So by the time you found me, you were already likely to pay attention to this, to this call to action, buy solo ads, because someone else said it too. So if you hear things coming from several different directions, especially if those directions are authorities, if you look up to them in a certain way, and we're gonna, that's number 7 on our list here, you are more likely to pay attention and take action than if you only heard one person say that and they failed to back it up with proof. Number 6, frame that precedes what you say. So just like you're building the frame for the affiliate promotion, you can have a frame for everything you're saying. So I'll give you an example of how I did it for myself with the crypto stuff. right? So we couldn't sell traffic to the people who are promoting crypto opportunities because all they were looking for is crypto, 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 crypto traffic. So I had to create a pre-frame where I explained to them that crypto traffic is same as regular traffic because crypto traffic is looking to make money and Bitcoin is going mainstream. And I even bridged the gap further by giving them a video sales letter to use in their funnel. And that was the frame necessary to get them buying traffic. So you can either have your own frames by beginning that conversation from an earlier point. So if you imagine your marketing as a timeline, rather than beginning from a 50% mark in your timeline, begin it from the 0 mark. And if you're selling a list building course, rather than assuming that people know what list is and why list building is awesome and how to use email to make money, maybe you need to invest a little bit of time to create a few frames where you build their confidence in the fact that having a list is a prerequisite to success, like I do. Because I recognized at some point that I couldn't offer traffic to people unless they recognize this truth. And so I went on to create a series of training videos that allow me to now frame it in a way where by the time we're talking about buying traffic, that just makes perfect sense. 7, your authority on the topic. So this is another one. This is big one. Sometimes, I see people get so many things wrong, but they got this one thing going for them, the fact that they're an authority, and that's it. Game over. And the way you create authority is by creating the marketing content. In fact, one of the secrets that we're going to be chatting in a few minutes is that the frame itself oftentimes helps you create the authority. Now, authority can also be created by you writing a book or producing any kind of content, by them actually consuming content from you and paying you a little bit of money for that content also creates you as an authority. One of the things that I believe that made me an authority was when I started selling my $10 product. So at the point when they started giving me money in exchange for content, all of a sudden I became an authority. You have paid a lot of money to be on this coaching program, and guess what? To you, I am probably an authority. Another thing I've done successfully is I interviewed a bunch of other authorities. So I became guilty by association with other authorities. So I started getting interviews with anyone I admired, and even the people who were on the same level as I was. Sometimes even with the people who weren't really big, but still, I in my 10-year career so far, I think, and I never counted this, but I would estimate that I've done roughly about 2,500 interviews in my online career. Now, again, this is a rough ballpark, give or take 500 interviews, but I've done a lot. I've done more interviews than I can remember with more people than I can remember because I want my name out there alongside other people who have authority. And that automatically makes me an authority. And if you want to find out how to do that, you can go to my blog, go to igorsolitz.com/blog. And in the search box, type in interview and you'll find a post where I explain how to approach people for interviews. 8, personal timing of what you say. Now, what this means is that the personal timing of the prospect of the customer. So for example, if the customer is looking for a make money online program and they've just been fired from their day job and they need to make money now, anything you say about working from home and making money online will most likely register much better than if they have a well-paying job and they're not looking for anything right now, but they're just kind of, playing with the idea. So personal timing matters. And then of course there's the market timing, which means that, for example, the reason right now as we speak, the Bitcoin stuff, the crypto stuff is so hot because all of a sudden the market is aware. The market is aware of Bitcoin because of the recent jump in price. The marketplace, the news and the Bloomberg and CNN, they all talk about Bitcoin. So all of a sudden, bam, 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 it's in the mainstream media. It's trending. So the market timing is perfect. Now, you can also manufacture market timing by basically explaining to people why right now is the perfect opportunity. For example, I could tell you, which would be true, by the way, that right now there hasn't been a better time in history of this marketplace to build a list online, to build an email list and sell products to the list. There's several reasons to that. First off, there's more traffic sources now available to you than there ever was when I got started 10 years ago. Second, there's so much content you can consume and repurpose as your own. Makes it easy. I mean, doesn't even require creativity at this point. Three, there's so many people out there already making money and having lists that it's so easy for you to either joint venture with them or buy traffic from them by buying soloids off of them. Four, there's so many examples of average people succeeding in this industry right now that you'd be, I would practically shame you into success, because if you're not taking action now, and you're probably much smarter than a lot of these people out there who claim they make $10,000 per month from home, you're just too lazy to do it. I mean, I don't believe you're not smart enough, because I see those other people and they're not smarter. They're not smarter than you. So these could be angles for the market timing, right? For the market timing angle. Now, 10, offer timing. So the offer can, and usually, like I said, should be limited, because anything that's not scarce, we don't value. We only value things that are scarce. 11, how focused are they when you say it? So one of the reasons why casinos don't have windows or clocks is because they want all the focus of the player at the table. They want the player to forget about everything else in their life right now and spend as much money at the table as possible. Same thing with seminars. Okay, seminars, if you go to a seminar of any kind, you won't see any clocks and you won't see any windows in the room, because whoever conducts the seminar wants your full attention in the room. They want you to sort of zone out everything else in your life. They ask you to turn off your phone. They don't there's only one break for lunch, and they create an environment where it's easy to hold your attention. And that is one of those things that you have to stay aware of when you create your frames, because even though you don't necessarily see the person on the other side of the screen, you have to start asking yourself the question, what can I do to continuously get the focus of my customer? Now, we already spoke about the fact that if you're using the 27 word persuasion formula, you're much more likely to get their focus and attention than if you're not. But you can also get additional things going for you by using specific words, by doing what's called pattern interrupts. It's not a term for you to look up in the NLP training. Go on YouTube and type in pattern interrupt NLP. This is basically when you do something unexpected, right? So bam, you kind of they zone in on you because you've done something you didn't expect, and so on and so forth. So focus is important. It's not critical as far as like you have to maintain their focus 100% of the time to make money. No, but it really helps. I mean, it's one of those dimensions of influence, because if you're talking to someone and they're not listening, then why are you even talking to them? It's really useless. Number 12, your personality. Now, believe it or not, but a lot of people only want to do business with people they want to be friends with. That's actually one of the flaws. If you ever hired people for yourself, if you ever hired people in your business, whether offline or online, a lot of times we hire people based on personality, and that is incorrect. We only need to hire people based on their skill set. But people want to work with people who they like, people who they want to hang out with. And a lot of times they look at your personality, they look beyond at what you're selling, which is why it pays. Okay, it's really profitable for you to incorporate personality into marketing through the humor you've got, through your personal interests. That's why probably, and maybe I'm not even aware of it or conscious of it at this point, but that's why I mentioned about 30 minutes ago when I was taking a sip of espresso, which I could just do quietly, but I did say it, right? I said, let me have a sip of my espresso and a soda. Damn, I love this stuff. So immediately have an image of me drinking some espresso, soda, etc. And you saw a bunch of probably images and videos of me shooting videos and working in coffee shops. So this is all personality stuff. This is lifestyle, personality, point of view, belief system. That stuff matters, actually. It helps with the influence. Think Russell Brunson, right? Russell Brunson built this personality of a really nice kid, even though he's like 40 years old. He's got this childlike personality, always fun, always interested, always engaged. And people love buying from Russell because they can see themselves hanging out with him and they can see how they could be friends. That's the feeling they get. So personality is very important. Now, one of the best examples, by the way, of personality marketing, you can see it in stand-up. In stand-up comedy, if you have a favorite stand-up comedian, go and check out their bit and ask yourself why you love them. So, for example, one of my most favorite stand-up comedians is George Carlin. If you go on YouTube and type in George Carlin, you'll find a bunch of stand-up acts, and he's always pissed off. Like, and that's the personality, right? I mean, I'm not sure if he's the same in his real life, but the personality on stage is being always pissed off, mildly pissed off. Um, is just so attractive to me, and I oftentimes incorporate that personality into my videos. I used to do that a lot a few years back. It's not so much now. Now I'm less pissed off, but that was my evolution. Same thing with Dan Kennedy, one of my most favorite gurus. He's always pissed off. He's always making fun of stupid people and stupid behaviors. He's always upset. He's always mildly annoyed. But at the same time, if you check out Lewis Black, which is another famous stand-up comedian, he's too pissed off for me. Like, he's just raging mad, and I don't like that. I really do not like that. So mildly pissed off, mildly annoyed is the kind of personality I'm attracted to. And decide what it is for you, and you can play with it. You can actually incorporate different personalities into different frames and angles, and you'd notice how your income goes up as a result. Number 13, the previous experience related to what you say. So if they come in fresh, if they never made money online, they got a clean slate. So when you say, make money by building a list, they may take it at face value. But if they come in and they tried building a list, and they built a list and they failed at building a list, or they built a list and the list was not profitable, guess what? You say build a list to make money, they're going to say, yeah, right, I tried that. So then you got to overcome the objection before you can make the sale. So their previous experience matters a lot, and you always have to take it into context when you are connecting with them. So don't confuse this with number 3. Number 3 is more about the environment. Okay, the environment in which it is delivered. Is it a radio show? Is it a paid product? Is it a video? Is it an ebook? Is it an email? Is it a free YouTube video? Is it a speaking engagement that you're conducting and you're on stage live in front of them? Is it a one-on-one conversation? But the previous experience context is all about when you make a claim, how do they respond? Do they respond with, yeah, right? Do they respond with, oh, I tried that, doesn't work? They respond with being confused because they don't know the lingo, and so on and so forth. And number 14, last but not least, their perception of your agenda. So one thing that people need to know for sure, like they need to be certain of it, is that you're doing this to help them. Is that, yes, you deserve to get paid and you are doing this to make money, but the money objective is secondary because first you want to give them lots and lots and lots of value. They need to know that you want to go to sleep at night knowing that you've done well by your customers, that you have delivered. And they need to know that first and foremost, the first thing in your mind, the first thing in your priority list is to help your customers. That's what they need to know. If they somehow, in some way, for some reason, question your agenda, if they feel that all you're trying to do here is make money off of them, they will not believe a word you're saying. They will not believe a word you're saying, and they'd be right to do that. They'll be right not to believe you, because if that's your agenda, if all you're here for is to make money and you're not going to help them at all, right? If you don't plan on helping your customers, if you plan on scamming them, well, shame on you. Shame on you. You may still get away with it, right? You may still scam people and kind of overcome this objection with some slick talk or whatever. But eventually, people will stop buying because it will come through. So you definitely need to not only have interest in people, as you already recognized, because most of what we're talking about during this coaching program is you understanding your market, which means you have to take interest in the people you work with. But you also have to love the people you work with. Kind of like you love your children. Even when they misbehave, you still love them. And if any of you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have children, then go talk to some people who have children and ask them this question. Because unless you really love your customers and you really appreciate them for who they are, and you're trying to give them a hand up, I don't think you will have long-term success in this business. So, as I mentioned a minute ago, consider the fact that your influence dimensions, right? They are manufactured. They don't come to you naturally. Rarely, if ever, they come naturally to people. And the beautiful part about this is that high quality frame piece actually helps manufacture some of these, not all of these, but some of these can be manufactured with a high quality framing piece. Over time, you will manufacture more and more and more of these, and the more your clients get to work with you and get to know you and get to consume your marketing material, the more they will learn to spot more and more of these, and they will develop a belief that you have all these. Again, it all depends on how consistent you are, on the quality of your frame pieces, on your use of the 27-word persuasion, and of course on you recognizing the gaps and choosing powerful frames. So this concludes this week's training. I thank you very much, and I'm actually surprised because it's only an hour and 12 minutes, which is I think record-breaking, the shortest training I've ever conducted live. And this training is going to lead you forward on every single affiliate campaign you're doing. These are the fundamentals. These are actually, I wouldn't even say fundamentals because these are advanced secrets. What I mean to say, these are the building blocks that you use to build a profitable affiliate campaign or even a campaign for your own products moving forward. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you took lots of notes. I hope you got lots of value. Actually, I know you got lots of value because none of this is taught outside of the List Building Lifestyle Masterclass. And I'll see you on the next one. Expect an email announcing the next training, or if you're watching the recording, just move on to the next training session and I'll see you there.